Greetings, my excellent friend.
Welcome to Heavy Metal
History.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this special episode of the podcast this week. This is going to be like a little bonus episode just because it's not very long. I got to sit down and talk with Johnny from Winds of Plague to talk with him about the new album that's about to come out. Obviously, like we talked to him very briefly about like what got him into metal as usual. We didn't really have a lot of time. It's only about 20 minutes long, so we're just going to put this out as a bonus episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and yeah, we'll see you next week with another episode of Heavy Metal History, the podcast. Enjoy. Cool, man. The thing we always like to kind of start with before we talk about the new record, obviously, just tell us a little bit about how like you got into metal. Like, what were those first records that you picked up, man? The ones that really like sparked it for you, man?
Cool. So even back in high school, I think I got some sort of like promotional sampler. I don't remember who it was, but it had Hatebreed on it, and that was kind of my first like real heavy band that really got me into the hardcore metal stuff. You know, before that, you know, I had been introduced to like bands like Slipknot stuff, and I was really into that. But I think Hatebreed was definitely my gateway band into this.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got Hatebreed Perseverance, and that's like kind of what got me into everything too.
I think it was I believe it was a Perseverance. The little sampler had 2 songs on it, and I don't even remember which song. The Perseverance was one of them, but I don't remember what the second one was.
Cool. So with that kind of, I guess, you know, that was a gateway to everything. Going into this new record, how did you guys kind of start getting the pieces together for everything and getting it to where it is now?
So it was kind of an interesting situation where we weren't really even writing for Winds of Plague at the time. You know, in my head, I kind of wasn't even sure what we were doing with Winds of Plague stuff anymore.
Yeah.
We had taken some time off, and a lot of the guys in the band had went their separate ways, but a couple of us are still getting together and working on music, and kind of sat down and reflected on it and decided that, you know, I didn't want to start a new band. I wanted to continue the Winds of Plague brand and move forward with all that stuff. So we started writing with that in mind. Got a couple songs together, you know, and then we teamed up with E1, and we had our manager Jason from Imperialist that was really pushing things forward through us, and you know, here we are almost a year and a half or so later.
So you guys have been working on it for that long, about a year and a half now?
I mean, yeah, at least a year and a half, could be even longer, since we really just started sitting down and writing. We definitely wanted to take our time with this record and make sure, you know, everything was perfect in our eyes. As well as, you know, the band isn't really a full-time job anymore. So we didn't have as much spare time to dedicate towards writing and stuff. So we kind of wanted to make sure we were putting in the time deserved into the record.
So when you guys like kind of decided to start writing music again, about how long did you guys go in with a clear idea of like, this is the kind of songs we want to write, or did you just kind of take it as it, you know, came to you guys, like one little step at a time?
No, yeah, we didn't really have anything in mind. Okay. We just started writing what we thought was cool, and kind of having that struggle between, you know, staying the same and evolving. So we were just trying to write, you know, find that fine line and kind of write for both, I guess, something that kind of still had the same, you know, Winds of Plague sound that we've developed over the last 10 years, and as well as taking steps forward.
Yeah, that's one thing I think you guys have. You have a very varied discography, like the way all your records sound, and just based off like the track that you guys released already, like the symphonic elements seem to have been like dialed up to 11, and it sounds really great. So I'm wondering like what the decision was to like take that kind of like as a more prominent feature in the music this time around.
Well, I think it's always been a prominent feature of the band, and part of our sound has always been the symphonic stuff, and something I've always been a big fan of. And so, I mean, you're right, that's something we definitely focused on. We made sure that, sometimes the guitars would take a backseat to that stuff and let the symphonic elements shine a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
As well as, like I said, just overall just spending more time on them and finding cool, unique sounds, opposed to, the same synth patches over and over.
Yeah. How do you guys compose that kind of stuff?
Man, I'm not the exact person to talk to about that. I just kind of like, hey, it'd be cool if this one was more of like a church organ, or, I'm kind of the, not the most dialed in with the lingo on all that, but
for sure.
So just experimenting more than anything, finding different patch libraries, if you will, and plugging things in and seeing what pops.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So why did you guys kind of take a break? I mean, were you guys just kind of like burnt out, or everybody just decided to go their separate ways? Like, because I know you guys. I toured with you guys back in like 2010, and I think you guys kind of went on hiatus a little bit after that. But yeah, it seems like it's been a long time. I did merch for Carnifex.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
How cool! Yeah. So 2000. Yeah. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things, right? So we started doing the band when we were in high school, and just growing up, and it's a tough lifestyle to never be home. Yeah. So I think it was a combination of wanting to kind of ground ourselves at home a little bit more. Financially, the band stuff's scary because you're only making money when you're out there touring. Yeah. So I think we kind of wanted to spend a little time developing other, careers for ourselves at home, as well as we were just kind of growing apart, and things were not clicking the way they had in the past. So I think at that point we just decided to kind of take a little bit of a break there. Half the band is all new right now. Mm-hmm. So a couple guys didn't want to pick it up where we left off. A couple of them did. So it's kind of what we did. Myself, got married, have a baby, have a full-time job as well. So for me now, the band is back to being a hobby, which I love. There's no more stress or no more reliance on the income from it. It's just a cool thing where I get to go travel around with my friends and play shows.
Yeah, I would have to think that it like kind of frees up like all that kind of overwhelming, like, just constantly having to be doing this all the time, and you're a little more freed up to be like, I guess, more creative in a way, because you don't have all that pressure from all the extra like band stuff added on. It's just like a fun thing again.
Yeah, and especially with this record, I think it shows because when, like I said, you're only making money really when you're out touring. Mm-hmm. So trying to write a record while touring full time, 9-10 months out of the year, it's tough. And right now we didn't have that, so we spent the last year and a half at home. Even though we have other jobs and stuff that detract time, it's still easier to be at home and find time than it is to be on the road and try and find time.
So how long did it take you guys to record the record?
Oh, man. Well, we did all the pre-production first. So with pre-production to turning it in, it was probably a solid 6 months, maybe.
Okay.
The pre-production helped a lot because we dialed all the song arrangements in, and then we were able to send it out to kind of our guy who helped us with the synth stuff, and he was able to start kind of collecting ideas and working on that. And then, so I think that was a very crucial step that we had been missing in the past to help us kind of get everything dialed in. And then we recorded everything with Noah and Jolly from the band Bad Omens. Okay. So we recorded it in their garage, like the whole record. So it's kind of interesting that, in the past ones, the play records, we spent a lot of money and a lot of time in these fancy, nice studios in LA and Hollywood. And then this last one, we wrote it in this, recorded it in this guy's garage. But to me, it's like, it was awesome. Like, there's no pressure. There's no time limits. It's just hang out, grab some food, and work on a record, and all hours of the night. is a really cool, like, creative experience.
So did you guys kind of record it live, or did you do each instrument kind of on its own and then put it together that way?
Yeah, each instrument on its own.
Okay.
And I think we like the way we did it is, you know, once the guitars were laid down, I would start vocals. So in literally, like, I was in the garage recording vocals while the next song was in, you know, they were set up inside the house, so tracking the guitars, like trying to get through it all.
Okay. So, are there any like lyrical themes on this record, or like, you know, cause life has, I'm sure, changed a lot from when you used to write for Winds of Plague stuff, you know, a few years ago, but have you kind of kept the same ideals for the songs that you write the lyrics for, or is it just kind of like whatever?
Yeah, I think obviously my mindset is, you know, quite a bit different than from when I was 21, 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, what do I want you know, some kid struggling in high school, like, to be able to take away from it? And for me, it's always about trying to inspire and trying to instill some sort of positive message. And, you know, to me, that's what a lot of metal bands did for me, even though, you know, some of the lyrical content could be aggressive or whatever. You could always, for me, I could always put on, you know, a record and always get pumped up and be able to overcome whatever obstacle happens to be in front of me at that time. And that's kind of what I'm trying to lay out as well. Very self-empowering, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important, you know, especially in metal. Like, you know, it gets overlooked a lot because of just, you know, the aggressiveness of it. But if you look kind of deep down in it, especially maybe not every band, but, you know, a lot of bands, like, it's good to have those messages to kind of like help people, like you were saying, get through stuff, because I mean, that's kind of why we all listen to this music, you know. It empowers us in a way that a lot of other music doesn't. Definitely,
you know, and I think there's a very wide, especially nowadays, a very wide range of listeners. But to me, it's like when I'm writing, I'm always picturing, you know, that the kid that doesn't necessarily fit in, that needs that extra boost, that needs somebody in their ear telling them, you know, they can do whatever they need to do. So that's kind of what I always keep in mind when writing is for the misfit, I guess.
Okay. So kind of one other thing I've always wondered, as long as I've like kind of read about you guys, or like, you know, even met you guys once or twice, you guys seem to get a lot of weird criticism about your music because of all the different elements that you put in there. And I don't really understand it personally, because, you know, music is subjective, and it's, I don't understand why like people have to shit on you guys for like taking chances and kind of like trying to make something different. So like, how do you guys deal with that? Do you just like ignore it, or just fuel the fire, or, you know, how do you just take that into account?
It's interesting as well. And I think a lot of it is because people that listen to metal and stuff, like, unlike other genres, are very passionate about their music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't see like people freaking out and arguing with people on the internet over country songs or whatever. So, I mean, I think it's a good and a bad thing. I think it's great that people feel, you know, this attached to this kind of music. On the other hand, it's like it's not the end of the world. If you don't like something, you don't have to like everything. So that's the way I look at it. I feel like there's always going to be people that don't like whatever we do for every number of reasons. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, on the flip side of that, I feel like there's a lot of people that do enjoy it and appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, the people trolling on the internet are a little bit louder than the others, but
yeah, it's unfortunate.
You know, I've noticed that our live shows seem to reflect the positive side of it. And so, no, it doesn't really, it bothered me, I guess, when I was younger, but now it's, like I said, I'm out here just to have fun and enjoy it. So the internet stuff doesn't bother me really.
That's good. Yeah, because I feel like elitism in metal is like one of the things that like drives a wedge, you know, in the genre. And it's really unfortunate that people can't just enjoy the music for what it is, you know? It's the strangest thing to me.
Especially in metal, because, I mean, it's based on the metal and hardcore stuff. Like, it's all based around like not being a part of, I don't know. I'm not sure if these are the right words for this, but it's like, it's supposed to be for the people that don't fit in and the misfits and being different and stuff. And then it's the elitism that comes along with it. It's kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah. It gets out of hand, but So I guess with that being said, I know we're kind of running short on time here. What did you guys kind of like want to accomplish with this record overall? Like, I know it took some time, and I can see you guys really put in a lot of work to it, so I'm excited for it. So what was like the overall like kind of thing you guys wanted to do with it?
Well, I think to be honest, like the last record or two, I wasn't 100% thrilled with, I guess, and I just for this record, my main thing is I just wanted to create a record that I personally was happy with, start to finish 100%. So that's kind of, especially if things were to end today, is I want to be able to know, like, the last record we did is something I love and I'm happy with. So that's kind of it. Just wanted to create, I'm not going to say it's not our last record. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that, but if it was the last record, that I was happy at that point. I always wanted the last record I wanted to be happy about. So, I don't know. I guess that's it. I wanted to create something that sounded like Winds of Plague, but was kind of a step forward, as far as musicianship and creativity, and just something that I could be proud of at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair, and I think it's really nice for me to hear that you guys like really put your all into this. Not that you haven't with past records, but you really wanted to take time to craft like something that not only you guys could be extra proud of, but the fans can like really get a lot of enjoyment out of too.
Yeah, well, I think past records kind of gotten convoluted a little bit, whether it's being in a rush for time or getting pulled away for this or that, or having the record label saying one thing or another, or having management trying to kind of wedge in their ulterior motives or whatever it may be.
Yeah. All
I know is that this record had none of that. So it was just like I said, a bunch of friends hanging out, creating music, and it was a great experience, and I'm really happy with this record.
Cool, man. Well, one last thing we always like to kind of ask here, because we have like a little running tally. What was your first Metallica album you listened to, and why do you love it so much?
Master of Puppets.
Okay.
You said Metallica, right?
Yep, Metallica.
Okay, you sure said metal or Metallica? Yeah, so Master of Puppets. So it's kind of a cool story, and I guess I kind of slipped my mind until you asked this. But when I was younger, my mom took me to what was the old record store called? The big one. It was the chain.
Amoeba?
Oh man,
no.
I don't know. It was like the big record store, but she took me down there. I remember she asked the person, like, "Oh, what are the kids listening to these days?" And they gave me a Boys to Men CD, and I took it home and I put it on. My dad's like, "No," and took me back down there, and he got me the Master Puppets cassette, and I still have that cassette, and I just love that story, and that's kind of first time I ever heard like distorted guitars, and it just kind of I think set me up for my music career from there.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a good story. Well, yeah. I guess let everybody know like where they can pick up the record, and if you guys are going to be on tour, like where they can see you on tour or whatever you guys are doing.
Yeah, so new record Blood of My Enemy is available, I think, everywhere, literally. On iTunes, we have some cool pre-order packages as well as vinyl up on our website, windsofplague.net. We're going to be touring sporadically now that I'm a 31-year-old dad. Yeah. I have some other things I got to work around, but we are touring here and there, trying to get as much coverage out of the U.S. and as well as the world. So we'll be in your city soon.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Hopefully we can get you on at a later time and get a little more in depth into some of this stuff, but I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for taking the time.
All right. Bye, man.
See ya. Bye.
All right, so that was Johnny from Winds of Plague. Thank you guys for listening. If this is your first time checking us out, we really appreciate it. Go back and check out our old episodes. Let your friends know about us. Follow us on Facebook at Heavy Metal History Podcast, Twitter at Heavy Metal Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Heavy Metal History, all the social media stuff. You can get us on iTunes, Google Play, or you can go to our website, www.heavymetalhistorypodcast.com, and you can email us at heavymetalhistorypodcast@gmail.com. All right, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.